You have a physical retail business.
Hmm.
It's mobile,
Right.
which makes a difference. But
Hmm.
if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Sure. So what I did is I started a company, Proper Pour Events. It's a mobile bar and catering service. I've been in the restaurant bar business since I was 18 years old. I loved it. I knew as soon as I started that's what I wanted to do. I started working with some guys back in '98. Matthew and Joey Maloney, they owned In Club, which parlayed to Red Room, Much, Heaven, Sky, Mix, 913. So I always loved that, but also knew that at some point the party kind of stops. You kind of age out of it. So I got to have another
Yeah.
income stream somewhere. So I looked at, I actually kind of fell into a corporate job from meeting people that came in. So I've had a corporate job in finance on the mortgage side for 14 years. But I've always kept the restaurant and the bar side as well because, again, I really do love it. It is challenging. It's one of the toughest business you'll ever do. Anytime you're dealing with people's food or drinks, it's just everybody has an opinion and it's got to come out. You try to do the best you can and make sure that the food is perfect, good quality. You have good staffing. There's a lot of turnover in that business as well. So dealing with that, I knew that the bar side was my bread and butter as far as cocktails, bourbons, just drinks in general, because everybody, when people go out, they want to have a good time. They don't want to think about their job during the day. They want to release. They don't want to go somewhere and see somebody complaining or see somebody having a bad day, come up to you, hey, what can I get for you?
Yeah.
You're already kind of setting the tone. You want to de-escalate a situation before you even get there. So it's just, hey, how you doing today? Just what can I do for you? Having those conversations with people. I've met some of the most amazing people in my life from behind the bar in that setting that I'd never meet before. I've gone to some amazing places in the world because of that as well. Coming from a small town, it's very eye-opening to see all walks of life, people that you meet, finding out what they do, and then realizing those, the people that you meet aren't that different than you. They just went down a different path, or this event changed their career, and to see them be successful, it makes you realize, oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
So with the with the mobile bar side, I actually got tired of doing some private events, carrying everything in and out, and it's cliche, but one night we'd always go to Slice of Life. I'd take Anthony, the guy that was my right-hand guy at 913. We would go out there, we have a drink, slice of pizza. We actually had people 3 nights in a row asking us to do private events, come off site to do things. And that night, hey, we'll talk about it, trying to figure it out. I was like, there's got to be a way to do this, to do a mobile bar. And so we started looking up, going Instagram, Google, start typing in mobile bars, and you start seeing things, and again, realizing that it's already out there. I can do this.
Yeah.
I know how to build. I know how to design. I know what works from being behind the bar. I just got to figure out how to find one in the process to do that. And what's interesting is I started seeing a lot of horse trailers, the mobile bars that they did, but they were in England.
Yeah.
So I would see that, and it makes sense from their culture and horse riding and everything else. So I started seeing that. Then I started seeing more of the camper style mobile bars here in the States, Airstreams. I really like the Airstream, but the more I started looking into it, it was a cost. It was
expensive.
it was a cost thing associated with it. The ones that I did find that I would like, it's a specific model. They're called the Bambis. They're smaller, 16 to 19 feet, which is perfect. But those are also really, really popular as well with campers, because you can hook them up. You don't need a bigger truck to pull them because the gross weight on them. So by the time I was trying to look at the price on those and find a couple, they were the cheapest one I found was around 10 grand. It's like, maybe later on down the road. So I started looking at more of the horse trailers, and found a bumper pull, and it took me actually 4.5 months to find the one that I really wanted, just because it gets really tight really fast in a small confined space. So you have to make sure you design it a certain way to where you have room to move around and figure out what you really want to do. So yeah, I found one, started gutting it out. Within 4 weeks, it was done. It's one of those things. I found it. I just started working on it. I had a friend of mine help me build it. And he's a phenomenal carpenter. So I got to give him a lot of credit for
it. Looks incredible too, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
A lot of that, again, the carpentry works from one of my friends, Tom. He was clutch. I mean, just the skill set that he had, and he'd stay up with me some nights 3 o'clock in the morning.
Nice.
Funny story. I had an event booked on a Tuesday, 4 o'clock in the morning, Monday night. Let's say Tuesday morning. We were still in there hanging the copper ceilings that I had. The sheets of copper were in there hanging copper. I had an hour and a half sleep, got up, finished everything out, and had the event that afternoon at 1 o'clock in the morning. So again, if it wasn't for him, it'd have been rough.
Yeah.
It'd have taken me a lot longer. But inside of that, what I wanted to do is I started looking at other people's businesses and how they had their trailers. And once I like something or I see something that interests me, I get obsessed about it. I go down rabbit holes. I'll start looking at this. It's just how I've always been, whether it be a sport or a car or, business idea or, bourbon. I just go down rabbit holes and I don't stop. I just keep, trying to learn as much as I can. So during the whole build process, I had, all these pictures laid out, files saved on my computer. Like, all right, I like what they did. Knowing what I know as far as from being behind the bar, having a lot of people coming at a time, how can I design this? So inside of it, I actually have commercial refrigeration like you would see in any restaurant or bar, beverage coolers with slide systems in them, kegerator up front, slushy machine I can use, and I have another other little portable bars that I can use in conjunction with that if events are really big.
Yeah.
So having the commercial equipment in there really helps out a lot. That way I'm not having to, put beverages on ice, let them cool.
Right. Yeah. Hey, Jesse, can you pull up Will's Instagram page?
Yeah.
So with that, the other thing too is I was fortunate enough. I've had a corporate job for a long time, restaurant and bar, my income from that. So I spent quite a bit of money designing the trailer that I had, just so it's like, I want to go and do this now, kind of go over the top of things, and then I can modify things later. And that's what we did. So yeah, right there, that's what's right there. So that's a picture right there. So
scroll down a couple images.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
So the outside is cedar. So I use a lot of cedar with it. Right from my dad retired from Miller, he would get off every day and go to some land that he owned, and he would start building a house. And he had a friend, and he went through the whole process correctly, but he had people to help him out as far as, hey, you need to do this, had inspectors. So, but he would go out 3 or 4 hours a day and start, get work done, get up, go to work, get up, do that. But his whole goal was not to have a house payment. So he worked overtime, got it done, is exactly what they wanted. But the cedar on that is from the actual land from my mom and dad's house.
Oh, that's cool.
So the exterior of my parents' house is cedar. Their neighbor just happens to have a sawmill.
But their house smells good.
Yeah. So their neighbor, he had a tree. They could drop trees and, get the wood for it. Well, when I was doing the trailer, I was asking my dad, it's like, hey, does Lane have any cedar or have any oak? I'm looking, he goes, well, I think I may have some left over from when we built the house. I was like, where is it? He goes, I think it's in the basement. I go down in the basement. It had been sitting down there for 12 years. So it's just laid flat, everything. So I had this beautiful red cedar wood that had been sitting there for over a decade. So I had just enough to clad the whole outside and partial inside of the trailer, and I maybe had 2 boards left. But that red cedar is from my family's land, and the bar top is live edge. So we took the 3 sheets and we joined them up for that, and it's permanent on that. And then on the inside is some barnwood and black walnut from the farm, from my family's land as well. So almost everything in there as far as the wood has been repurposed from family, and the trim work, everything. So with the wood and then the copper ceiling, it adds a lot of warmth to it. And at night, when you actually see the inside of the trailer, that the copper, it almost looks like a rose gold. Is beautiful. Cool. Because on the inside I made soffits going all of the whole length on the front and the back wall, and I had put LED lighting in it, so it's a warm white light. So when it shines, it lights everything up. It's a really nice warm glow. It's comforting. It's like drawing a moth to a flame. It's like, all right, let's grab a drink. So it's one of those things that it's inviting. It's not sterile. You can see a lot of that. If you go somewhere, you have a kind of, I hate saying it, but like a vibe to it as far as you go in. It's comforting, so people like it. Yeah. And I can serve 250 people out of that rig right there.
That's awesome. Yeah. Now you've got another piece that goes with it too, right?
Right. So with that one, I actually I modified, and again, this is one of those things where I get obsessed about things, and I'll see other people's and what they're doing. The front hitch part, it kept bothering me a lot because it was just it was an eyesore. Yeah. So what I did is I actually built essentially like a little collapsible bar. There's a V-nose part that covers that. Yeah. We'll go to it in a second, but it's up under the gallery. So what it does is it's 5 feet long, and it covers the whole hitch part, but I can put stools and everything else around it, so it actually makes the trailer look even bigger than what it is. So it allows more people to come around it, sit around it, converse, have a drink, and just have a good time. And then last year, the truck right there, I call that my diamond in the rough, because that truck right there, it had been sitting in this older gentleman's garage in Chicago for 20 years. I found it. Wow. And I couldn't believe it. I was talking to my friend Tom that helped me. I said, "Hey man, I found this truck and this is what I want to do with it." I've seen them before. People do this, but I want to have another option, because to be able to grow the business, I wanted to be able to do multiple events, multiple days, same day. So I wanted another option for it, and I wanted to draw from a different demographic. So the horse trailer, that goes good in a lot of places, especially around here. There's a lot of wedding venues that are barn setups that are more rural areas. But then again, you have really high-end areas. Cadillac Service Garage, downtown Greensboro, beautiful setup. The gentleman owns that. When they redesigned it, wood, metal, a lot of organics, concrete. The truck goes better there because it's an old building.
Right.
The trailer wouldn't go as good there. I have done events there with it, but with the truck, I can hit almost every demographic. When I first got the truck, I had more hits on the truck than I had anything else that I ever put out there or did. So, I mean, you can see it as far as when you're using social media, your insights, your algorithms, your analytics. I could see the touch points and everything.
Right.
That's when my eyes really opened up. But I got the truck. I kind of bought it sight unseen, to be honest with you.
You did good.
Yeah. So I flew up to Chicago. I met the guy, and I was just in awe. I couldn't believe it. It's like, this can't be real. Like, right, that I'm getting this for the price that I paid for it. Met the guy, had a truck, delivery truck come up at the same time, loaded on the truck, drove it around. That was it. It's gone. And by the time I got back to High Point, it was here a couple hours later, the way we had everything set up.
Awesome.
But yeah, the truck's cool. I have a 6-tap system on it, and now with tap systems, you can do almost anything. I mean, you can do wine, beer, cocktails on tap.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, you can tap just about anything. Kombucha. So that's a cool little thing. And then a lot of people actually like using it for photos too. So, finding out, the more you get into a certain type of business and what people charge, it's an added benefit, because, you have a classic truck you can take pictures in and possibly drive out on and not have to rent something else as well. So that's, you're getting not only the bar service and custom cocktails or, draft, but you also have another, I can say, prop to take pictures in and,
right,
have something to remind you of that date.
Yeah. Now,